Chapter 749, See How I Destroy Her. Tang Ning was in no rush to clarify things because she didn't think it was time yet. But, the drama needed to choose a male lead. So, Mo Ting ended up giving Tang Ning two choices, Lu Yiling or Long Crossing. Lu Yiling had a noble appearance, one that suited the emperor in the novel. Although his acting was quite mechanical, his appearance was a plus. On the other hand, Long Sheng was the complete opposite. He didn't really stand out in ancient costume, but he was comfortable to look at and not easy to get sick of. Most importantly, his acting was spectacular. Both men had their strengths, advantages and disadvantages. As Tang Ning looked at the information for the two men, she remained silent for quite a while. As soon as Mo Ting saw this, he knew exactly what she was thinking. You're not happy with either of them? Tang Ning looked at Mo Ting quietly like she was staring into his soul. I've already contacted both of them to come for auditions. You should come and have a look as well. Tang Ning nodded her head. But, she actually felt that the male lead she truly hoped for was impossible. As soon as Bai Yu returned to China, Bai Linlin suddenly found she had someone to rely on. Erasing the dreaded memory of the punishment in front of Tang Ning, Bai Linlin could now flaunt her power once again. Of course, she still remembered the grudge she held against Chen Xinyan. Even if she couldn't pick on Tang Ning A who barely took a step out of her house, being able to teach Chen Xinyan a lesson wasn't a bad alternative. Plus, they were both currently vying for a role in The Best Ex-Girlfriend, so their chances of seeing each other were a lot higher. After quitting from a concubine Ning, Zihao placed all his focus on Chen Xinyan. He felt relieved to see that she had matured and become a lot more understanding. Today, they were attending a test reading of the script. Zihao accompanied Chen Xinyan to the bathroom and escorted her right to the door. Bai Linlin happened to be coming out of the bathroom at this time. As soon as she saw Zihao, she sneered and walked up to him. Mr. An. Zihao leaned back against the wall and glanced casually at Bai Linlin. I heard you were once a top manager. But, from the looks of it, your abilities are quite mediocre. You've already struggled so much just to manage one Chen Xinyan. What other results can you produce? Zihao didn't want to respond, so he ignored her like she didn't exist. Seeing this, Bai Linlin scoffed. For someone like Chen Xinyan, even if you support her for an entire lifetime, she will never become a superstar. You should give up. After hearing this, Zihao pointed to his ear. I don't understand animal language. Or perhaps, my hearing isn't too good. Bai Linlin sneered and strutted away. Not long after, Chen Xinyan exited the bathroom and looked at Zihao. I heard Bai Linlin's voice just a moment ago. Was she causing you trouble? Let's go. It's about to start. Zihao had no intention to explain. Did she insult you? Zihao remained silent. Therefore, Chen Xinyan did not ask any further. But, she promised to herself that she'd become the best artist in Zihao's hands, that she'd dazzle everyone and make him lift his head in pride. The test reading soon started. Chen Xinyan was indeed given the role of the tomboy that she had hoped for. But, Bai Linlin was disdainful towards this. A piece of trash can only select a trashy role. After the test reading, Bai Linlin turned to leave, but the staff suddenly delivered a whole heap of gifts. Bai Yu had arranged these for Bai Linlin. As mentioned earlier, Bai Yu had her ways with people. To make things easy for Bai Linlin on set, she obviously had to put in a bit of effort. I never expected to see an international superstar here. I see Bai Yu. Bai Yu, can we get a photo together? I like you a lot. Bai Yu ji, thank you for your gifts. We will definitely get along well with Bai Linlin. Bai Yu stood in the doorway with a warm smile and perfect tech. This made Zihao quite awkward as he sat in the meeting room. The management agencies of all the other actors in the room expressed their standpoints one after another. They at least wanted their artists to be taken care of on set, so they naturally needed to put in a bit of effort to make it happen. However, Zihao did not do a thing. Let's go. Zihao said to Chen Xinyan. The broken bar, you guys have gifts too. Bai Yu saw them trying to leave, so she immediately handed Chen Xinyan two gifts. Chen Xinyan glanced at Zihao. In the end, Little Seven received the gifts on their behalf. Thank you, Bai Yu ji. In the workplace, there was always a type of person that used their hayek to teach others how to behave. But of course, Bai Yu was doing it to make Chen Xinyan and Zihao uncomfortable. Bai Linlin revealed an arrogant gaze, like she was telling them to witness her sister's flawless methods. Let's go. and Zihao repeated before he placed his arm around Chen Xinyan's shoulder and left the room. She's Mo Ting's younger sister, yet she doesn't know how to behave. How embarrassing. I heard that Zihao was once a top-class manager. How did he end up managing someone like Chen Xinyan? It's probably because his talent has been exhausted. Before the couple had gotten far, mean words started spreading from behind them. Chen Xinyan wanted to turn around and give a response, but Zihao held her back. Just ignore them. But, they said, and Zihao did not give her a chance to complain as he dragged her quickly away. Beiyu was good with people, but, so what? Sis, you came at just the right time and saved my pride. Bai Linlin finally felt like she had satisfied her anger. From now on, let's see how I destroy her. Unfortunately, Zihao was known as a top-class manager for a reason. Beiyu was good with people, but she didn't set the right target. How much was a simple gift worth? The next morning, Zihao invited a few important people in charge to a meal at a 5-star hotel. While they were eating, he said to the director, Director Wang, I happen to have a friend that is the dean at the School of Foreign Languages. I think he may be able to give your daughter some assistance. As soon as the director heard this, he slammed his hands on the table in excitement. I was just stressing over this matter. Zihao, you sure understand me. The school that Zihao spoke of was the most difficult well-reputed school to get into. The director had already utilized his connections, but had no way of securing a place for his daughter. Yet, Zihao unexpectedly had the ability. Don't worry, I know why you are doing this. I will take good care of Xinyan, you can be rest assured. When it came to laying a foundation, it wasn't necessary to waste money on pointless people. One simply had to target the person at the top and it was enough. It didn't matter how everyone else treated Chen Xinyan, because in the end, the director called the shots. Chapter 750, Don't be impatient, there's a good show coming your way. The atmosphere at lunch was extremely harmonious. Of course, when the time arrived to roll the cameras, there was going to be a good show. Did they think that Zihao wasn't good with people? What a joke! Did he need to bribe the average person? By doing that, he would be devaluing himself. More importantly, the director knew how to weigh the pros and cons. No matter how capable Beiyu was, her influence mainly existed in the US. Whereas, if someone wanted to survive in Beijing, they naturally didn't want to offend the big boss of entertainment, Mo Ting, nor his sister. But, what was the public currently saying? They were saying that Beiyu's acting was top-notch, her was admirable and that an actress like her was a rare find. In fact, even Tang Ning couldn't compare to her perfection because, every now and then, Tang Ning would at least show a bit of attitude, whereas Beiyu had no faults whatsoever. She was like a perfect dream girl in their eyes. Moreover, the thing that made her even more likable was the fact that during the filming of A Concubine Ning, she got injured multiple times, but she remained persistent and didn't delay filming just because she was a superstar. As Beiyu's fans watched the behind-the-scenes footage, their hearts ached as they called out for the director to protect the nation's dream girl. She was the nation's dream girl. All of a sudden, the spotlight shone brighter on Beiyu than on the bloated Tang Ning because Beiyu appeared closer to perfection. Ridiculous. This Beiyu is disgusting. Long Ji was overflowing with anger as she read the comments online. Even though she was pregnant, she still rushed over to Hyatt Regency. You're pregnant. Can't you remain calm? Tang Ning said in a strict tone. Do you want your child to have a short temper like you? Is that hereditary? Long Ji was stunned. It's been so many years. Haven't you gotten used to comments like this? Tang Ning helped Long Ji sit down. But it's never been this disgusting. You should have a look. Everyone's been saying that her acting and act is better than yours. And now, they're even saying her figure is better than yours. Are these people blind? It's normal for them to have their doubts since they haven't seen me in my current state. Can you calm down? Tang Ning's act has always been used against people. She never sucked up to anyone. So, it was reasonable for people to say that Beiyu was better with people than her. As for their other claims, she was bound to find a chance to prove them wrong. What was the rush? But, I'm angry. Tang Ning always appeared unfazed, making her hard to predict. But, her counterattack was always beautiful. Don't be impatient. There's a good show coming your way. Calm down. Tang Ning comforted. Beiyu experienced glory in Beijing, so her sister, Bai Linlin, naturally received a lot more attention. But, at this time, Bei Linlin was already filming on set. Although she couldn't flaunt around in public, she could still hold her head high on set. Chen Xinyan was the type of person that enjoyed reading the script. So, even though the staff ignored her and no one spoke to her, it was actually a good thing because she could spend more time perfecting the script. Ever since An Zihao was insulted because of her, she promised that she'd make a name for herself so An Zihao could receive respect. Bei Linlin watched as Chen Xinyan sat in the corner. There were many times when she wanted to walk up and insult her, but, knowing she was a stunt double and skilled in martial arts, Bei Linlin did not dare to make a move like she did in the past. She could only play small tricks to make things difficult for her. Bei Linlin, it's your turn, get ready to go on set. The director's filming today wasn't running very smoothly. By this point, he had already yelled at quite a few people. Even the two lead actors had suffered the director's scolding, let alone someone inexperienced like Bei Linlin. Do you know how to act? Are you a wooden puppet? Has your face been injected with too much Botox? Why do you look so emotionless? You're good at bullying people, but why aren't you up to standard when it comes to acting? I don't want to film you anymore. Bei Linlin, take 2 days off to get into the right mind frame. Bei Linlin's face turned red from the scolding. She was too embarrassed. At this time, the staff tried to comfort her. They pointed to Chen Xinyan with their chins and said, "Just wait, that one's going to have it even worse." Bei Linlin noticed Chen Xinyan was about to start filming and calmed down a little. At least, she was the secondary lead and the director had to show her a little bit of respect. She couldn't wait to watch Chen Xinyan being humiliated by the entire crew. Everyone on set, ready. Chen Xinyan was dressed in a t-shirt and jeans. For the sake of her character, she had cut her hair short and got a few tattoos. From the outside, she looked like she had quite a unique personality. The exciting scene they were shooting involved Chen Xinyan racing in a car. Director Wang's films were famous for being nonsensical. So, in this comedy film, Chen Xinyan's character was an extremely exaggerated tomboy. She smoked, drank, raced cars and fought with people. Anything that men enjoyed doing, she would know how to do it too. In reality, the director wasn't entirely satisfied with Chen Xinyan's performance. In fact, whilst filming, the director jumped out of his seat at one point and furrowed his brows. The director's about to explode. Ha ha, Chen Xinyan's going to receive a scolding. But, contrary to everyone's expectations, the director simply said, "Xinyan, take note of the position of your left hand. You're doing okay, keep up the hard work." Everyone had been yelled at, but, not only did Chen Xinyan not get yelled at, the director even spoke to her in an extremely gentle voice. What's going on with the director? Why isn't he yelling at Chen Xinyan? Bei Linlin's chest heaved in anger. Things did not pan out the way she had expected. Not only did the director praise Chen Xinyan, he even said to everyone after she was done, "If I yelled at you today, it is because you didn't have your mind in the right place." What's so good about being a bully? As for certain members of the staff, don't ignore your responsibilities because of a few benefits and look down on other people. You best watch yourselves from now on. If I discover you doing it again, I will ask you to immediately leave. As soon as Director Wang finished speaking, he announced that everyone was dismissed. However, the staff's cheeks burned red in humiliation. Why is Director Wang being biased towards Chen Xinyan? Bei Linlin asked the people around her confusedly. It's probably because he saw her being bullied too much. A staff member shrugged. Bei Linlin wasn't pleased. Although the entire crew welcomed her, the director disliked her. Chen Xinyan sure had a good run of luck. But, was it simply luck? Perhaps, for the rest of her life, Bei Linlin would never understand the true reason. Just like her sister only knew how to do things on the surface and there were certain things that she couldn't control.
Hit the like, thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.